Okay, so for this video, I'm going to be going over the basics of the BlueGhozt controller. So I got a new set of lights here. I haven't programmed them yet. Just finished putting the controller together. It's potted. Everything's ready to go on that. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn them on the controller itself. So there's a switch here that I've started adding. There's two modes. You can do either the one mode that will do a 12-volt source, so it goes direct from the battery. You turn these on and off with your phone, with the app. So anytime the car is parked, you can just pull up your phone, you can turn them on, they can run. You're at a car show, you don't have to turn anything on in the car, you can just turn the lights right on. The other option is the Drl mode. So I got it on Drl now. I will flip the Drl switch, and you can see they turn on. So that would actually turn on with the car. You know, I could see a very good reason to do either way. So I decided after a point to just put that switch in there and just make it so that a person could decide what's best for them, and you can easily just pop the hood, go underneath, and change it for whatever given thing is going on that day. If it just makes more sense to run them direct from the battery, it's as simple as flipping a switch. So alright, I'm going to turn off the DRLs, and we're going to get to programming. So, apps. I will quickly go over the Demon Eye app. So that is called Magic Light. If you are on an iPhone, it will be called Magic Light V2. So I've got that here. Have already labeled it, and usually will. If you get the lights, it'll usually say what the car is already and set the LED count and all that stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. So it'll open right up. You got different colors. This is your basic color tab on the bottom. You got it's RGB, red, green, and blue. So your blue, your red, your green. Then, you know, you go anywhere you want within the color wheel, and it'll do that color. You can do functions. This is usually how I'll send it to you, is will be in the 7-color crossfade with about an 80% speed. And that just shows people, a lot of people get really confused and like, can I get it with this color? Can I get it with that? It's RGB. Whatever color you want, it does it. So I usually put it on the crossfade, so that just automatically answers that question when people watch the videos. These can be any color. I really like blue. I run green on a lot of my cars on the roads because the cops won't really bother you if you're on green. It's still illegal. Still against the law to drive on the road with colors on the front of your car. Could be white or amber legally on the road. But I drive a lot of mine in my area with green, and I have not been pulled over yet. That's my experience. I do not recommend that you try it. So, next, that is the Demon Eyes in a nutshell. Not a whole lot to them. There's even a little music mode within there if you do connect back up. Music mode, disco. So if you're at like an event and there's speakers going on in the background, disco's kind of cool because they will actually flash. As long as your phone is open, they will flash to the music. I mean, you close your phone app, it's going to stop doing that. So, well, maybe not. Hey, I just learned something. Okay, well, so there you go. Pretty cool feature. But I'm going to put it back on function. I like the 80 speed 7 cross fade. I like that. Okay, gonna go to BlueGhozt, the BlueGhozt app. So BlueGhozt app. In the BlueGhozt app, so it has synchronized to it. So originally, like, yours is just not going to have this many. I connect to a lot of devices. I have to clear these out all the time. I got my own cars and trucks and everything else. I label mine and all that stuff. You can do that on yours. They will not be labeled. When you get it, it's going to be some jumbled mix of letters and numbers. So it will pop up as a new device. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete that device and find it. So this is what's going to pop up. Yours will not have any of the bottom stuff. You'll just have the top thing. It'll pop up. You're going to click it. It's going to ask for a code. You will set the code. So you can put whatever you want. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. That will be the code right now. When I unplug these and you put them in your car, the code will reset. The way that you can reset that code is if you pull the fuse on the harness, it will reset the code. You pull the fuse and you got to clear it. So you got to go in here like I did with the trash can on here. I hit clear. So I clear that out. And it will clear the code. So then when you go back in, you can actually set a new code if you forget your code. So that's a quick way, if you ever forget what it is, how to get in. Alright, it is syncing. We're in. Okay. Here's what I usually do when I set it up. So you got your basic, these are your show modes. I've added show modes. Normally this is all blank and you just have a plus. Mine's at the bottom here. Just a plus sign. You hit the plus sign. It pops up. You can do different show modes. I like to do waves. That's a really good way to get everything dialed in. So, like you see with mine, there's a lot of stuff going on. The way these LEDs work, they are called individually addressable. We call them color flow. A lot of builders call it that. Just sounds cooler and a hell of a lot easier to write than individually addressable LEDs. But they go in sequence. So they start, and each LED has a channel. And basically, it's LED 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on, all the way through. So the end of a strip will start at another strip or halo or whatever the sequence is. So if you just think of it like that, where it's just, it sees this entire light as one strand of LEDs. They're moving in different directions and all that stuff, but it's one strand. So when you're programming these things, if you're tweaking it, you're changing it, you want to make your lights your own, hey man, totally, all about that. But you got to understand what you're messing with and how it works to properly tweak this stuff. So it's all running in sequence, basically like one long strip. So here is what we're going to do. We're at waves. I'm going to do my preset waves. I don't want to add another show mode, but you'll just add a show mode. And then what you're going to do, you're going to go to the block tab here. So the block tab is going to give you the ability to add devices. Now, when I send this to you, all this is going to be set up how I would run it. How I do it in the videos, everything else, it's all set up. This is showing you if you want to change things, if you want to tweak things, how I set things up. If you accidentally clear it out and you need to put it all back in, this will show you how to do that. You by no means have to do any of this stuff. You can literally just pull up the app, add a show mode, and go to town as they are shipped. But a lot of people will either mess things up playing around, which is awesome, dude. Play around, get to know your controller. Nothing wrong with that as long as you understand the controller and you can fix any issues that arise. And that's what this video is for. So I'm going to add a channel. So you can see now we're on the left and the right. So there's a left and there's a right. We're currently on the left, and we're going to be adjusting this light right now. So that light, section 1. So each part of the light can be a section. Now, I can make this entire light one section, but the problem is that just, it doesn't properly utilize the app and the controller and the features that the controller has. So what I prefer to do is do sections. So my first section is going to be the halo, which everything, once again, it runs in series. So you can see the way these are wired up, it goes to the halo first, the back halo, then it will go to the front halo, then I believe it goes to the gills, and then to the, I can't remember, but I mean, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because of how awesome this controller is. 42, 43, so you keep going up on your size count here until you notice I've got one LED lit on the outside ring here. So I'm going to back off one. That means it's a 42 ring on the back. I'm going to change that to a halo. in this drop-down section, you have a halo, a strip, and a matrix. I haven't really done anything with matrices. You know, I might in the future. Most everything I do is halos and strips. So halo, and now I'm going to add the next device. This one will also be a halo. Now I can see it's fully lit up to halo, and no other LEDs are lit anywhere. So like I can add one more, but as you can see, okay, well, so it goes here. So I've got one lit up here. I don't want that. I'm going to dial it back to 30. That way nothing's lit up on the next section. So I've got two sections, 1 and 2. I'm going to add another section. This is going to be the strip. You can see it's coming up in the corner here, almost the full way. I'm going to take it up just to the point that we see there's one little LED lit on the inside of the gill here. I'm going to back that off. So there's none. Now, I'm going to add the next one. Now, this is overshooting it, and I know that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it off. The default when you add a section is 30 count. So you might have to go up, you might have to go down. It depends on what you're adding. So in this case, I'm going to back it down until that top corner starts to not be lit. Alright, so you can see it's starting to dial back. Add one more. Looks like it's about 19. Might be at 20. I think it's a 20. Okay, so we're going to do 20 on that strip. 33 on the bottom. 30 on the front halo. 42 on the back halo. So we've got them set as halo, halo, strip, and strip. So the next thing you want to do is you want to clock your halo. So you have something in here called offset and something called direction. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set direction. So as I turn this, you can see that back halo starts to turn itself as to where it goes. And if this is too busy for you, here's what I'll do. These little check boxes in the bottom tell them when to light up each section. So I'm going to turn off all the other sections, so we're just focused on the one section. So it's the only thing that's lit up. And my goal is right about there. For me, personally, I think it looks best if it flows around and out. Like some people really like the strip idea, where it kind of flows around. And hey, if that's you, do it. 100%. Nothing wrong with that. Anybody tells you that's wrong, it's your car, you do what you want. Personally, I like this style. And for this set, that's how I'm going to run them. But, you know, hey, when it gets to the customer, they are more than welcome to change it, make it do anything they want it to do. Okay, the next thing, the outside halo. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, now, if you notice, see, it still thinks we're running in sequence. So it's going from the back halo to the front halo. I want them to run together, the way I have this one set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust offset. So offset here, basically it tells it what channel to run on in sequence. Where does it want to run in sequence? So I want to make this look like one big halo just flowing together. So I'm going to adjust it just a little bit until it's right where I want it to be. Right about like that. So you see, like with a 42 and a 30, I had to add about 2 to 3 degrees of offset on the section 2 halo in the front to make it flow right. But personally, that's where I like it. Next, we're going to add the strip. So, the way this one works, it will also be offset based. Now, if you think about it like flow wise, so I mean, I want the whole light to look like it just flows together. So I'm just going to automatically put that offset to 0. So if you look at it, it just looks like it flows right through the light. So that one, to me, was pretty simple. The next one, I'm going to turn on the gills. Okay, so the gills, I I want them to kind of pick up like right about down here, somewhere like that. The LED count is higher up here than it is down here. So I'm going to have to factor that in when it's flowing outward. It's going to fill this up a lot slower than it fills up the bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it probably like a 13, 14. I think that's pretty good. That's about where I want it. So, that's it. I've set up the light. Basic setup. When you understand how this controller works, it is really not hard to do. It is super feature rich. It does a lot of stuff. Of anything that I've tried, I don't see anything coming close to the features of what these things do. So, I like the BlueGhozt. Okay, so couple other little options here. So you got two DRL modes. Basically, you can set colors for a DRL1 and a DRL2, and that way when the lights turn on, you can make them one channel blue, one, you know, if you want to change it up a little. Here's what I'm going to go ahead and set this one up real quick. Really simple. We're basically just going to copy what the other side did for counts. 42 halo, 30 halo. It was a 33 and a 20. Yeah, 33. Come on now. And a 20. Okay. Do an offset of like 14, 0, and there, that quick. Really simple. Okay, so we got those set. So, brakes. So this is the brake icon. These are not tail lights. You do not have a brake icon or a brake signal to these lights, so you don't really need to worry about that. This is the show mode. Kind of looks like a little party bouquet of flowers or something. That's just that simple. You can turn off each individual device. It helps to isolate if you're having issues or you're tweaking it or programming it or something. That helps to isolate the different things. And you know, it's kind of your call if you want to do something different. You know, one thing that you could do. Well, I'll show you that in a minute. I'll show you page by page. Okay, so this is the car page. So car page. This is your turn signal. So we can choose the basic function, wave function, sequence, bounce, bubble, rollout. These are all the different function modes that we can have for the turn input. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip on the turn signal here. I got a little flasher relay and play with them. So there's your waves. There's your sequence. Just kind of rolls out. There's your bounce. There's your bubble. That is actually called rollout right there. So those are your modes. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on the lights. I usually go waves. Yeah, waves. I kind of like how it continues the flow outward. Now you can also tweak. Each one of these can be tweaked with size, speed, and color. Once again, this is the legal color on the road. If you choose to do blue or green or yellow or pink, red, you get pulled over. I'm sorry. That's your call. This is the legal color. But you can change that color. You can make it any color you want. It really, hey, blue turn signals. Go for it. That is your car. You're right. You're paying the ticket. So do it however you want to do it. Okay, so the next thing here, you got size and you got speed. So, you know, depending on your car and how fast your flashers flash, you may find that you want to speed it up, slow it down. Depending on what mode you choose, you might want to speed it up or slow it down. You can make it smaller so it has more time to flow through the whole way, but go slower as well. Speed it up. I honestly, most of the time I just leave this 50-50. That's something, hey man, play with it, have fun. It's there. So that's turns. So next, I'm going to do the DRLs. So DRLs, you got Pulsate, Materialize, Scan, Sweep, Rainbow Road, Oscillate, Chiron, and Stair Step. Quite a few. You have 2 different colors for your DRLs. So we can choose, say we want this one to be blue. And we want that one to be white. So what that would do is we can go in and we can choose, let's say we want our halos to be channel 2 DRL color. So you go back into car mode and let's choose pulsate. So you see pulsate, it literally just pulsates. So that's the only DRL mode that like does something the entire time that it's on. The rest of them, when they turn on, they go solid whatever color you chose. I suggest white, but I do run green on my daily cars, so do at your own risk. But yeah, okay, so I'll turn it off. And most of these have like an animated, like it kind of fades out. So it kind of fades in a little bit. You can see it kind of like pulsating back and forth a little bit. Materialize. So choose materialize. You kind of see, and you can adjust speed, so I can make that go slower, so you can see it. So you go even slower. You know, there's so much features with this controller, it's insane. Scan, sweep, and I'll put that back up to 50 where the default is. So that's the scan, sweep. I think I've done that in a couple cars. That's a pretty cool one. Rainbow Road. This one seems to be pretty popular because it adds some color in. You know, a lot of people want that color when they turn them on and off. The Rainbow Road's pretty cool. Now, once again, you can change that speed, make it slow down a little bit, make those rainbows a little bit longer. Maybe you want them to last the whole length of the light. Totally flexible in what you can do. And try Oscillate. I was wrong. Okay. I don't think I've played with Oscillate enough. So Oscillate is another one that actually does something while the DRL is on. I don't think I've ever really used this one. It might even be newer. I know they added some different modes on the last update to the app. So that's another cool thing. Ghozt is really good about updating these apps and adding things and taking user feedback to add features that, you know, if you want something that's not there, you let me know, you let Ghozt know, and you know, I'll let Ghozt know if you tell me. It might be something that we can get put in there. So that's Oscillate. I'll turn it off. It looks like it just kind of fades out. Chiron. So Chiron just kind of like flows in like half lit and then flows out the rest of the way. It does that backwards when you turn it off. And Stair Step. So just kind of like block by block fills in. And, you know, speed-wise, I was kind of slow on that speed. I was kind of high on the step size. I mean, it's all, I mean, I guess technically you got a billion different possible combinations of how you can run all this stuff. Anymore, I just do Rainbow Road. It seems to be the one that catches people's eyes. and from there, the customer can change it to whatever you want. So, you know, hey, once again, they are your lights. You can make them whatever color you want. I'm going to put this back to white for legal peace of mind, and change these all back to main. And I will let the new owner of these lights make that decision for themselves. And then brake signal. So once again, you do not have brakes. If in the event that I use one of these in a taillight, I will cover brakes. Strobe, it flashes 3 times when you hit the brake pedal. You can adjust the speed of the strobe and the duration of the strobe over here. Basic, it's a brake. It just goes red. I mean, there's only 2 modes. I mean, how many modes can you have for a brake light, right? But yeah, there you go, brakes. So yeah, the cobalt. I guess I do cobalts now, so they do the brakes. So I mean, yeah, I do some taillights with these in them. Okay, the lightning bolt. Now this is if you have a Pro. I don't use the Pro a whole lot because there's not generally a benefit in headlights, and it is about $50 more expensive for the controller. So unless I see a use for it, I'm not going to. I got a set of taillights that I'm got working up that will probably get the Pro. But yeah, I mean, so that's for Pro. Honestly, I've never even played with it myself. So it's an on-off switch for up to 4 12-volt devices. You can label the devices, and you can program when they turn on, how they turn on, and the sequence and stuff. I have not played with that enough to give that mode justice, but I will get to play with it a little bit more in the future. Okay. So this screen, the little settings icon here, little gear, this is where you can set your nickname. So if we want to call this is a Cobalt. Headlights. Hardware version, that's just set. LED type. So I try to use RGBWs, or the actual layout is GRBW, but yeah, and most people would just call it RGBWs. RGBWs, they just stay cooler. They don't get as hot. That's one of the biggest things. If you're familiar with some of the older color flow stuff, they burn out in a couple months and stuff. In my opinion, from what I've seen and what I've used and the failures that I had seen, they were generally RGB, and doing testing for several days, these things get hot. So you can imagine you're outside in the heat, the sun's baking on the lights, and on top of that, you're running a full white mode or an RGB. Well, in order for red, green, and blue to make white, they must all be on full power. Well, it's a headlight. 95% of the time, if you're driving down the road, it's white. That's a problem. So I pretty much came to the determination myself, any builds that I do are going to be RGBW. Having that dedicated white chip, it adds a 4th color to the chipset. That dedicated white chip makes a heck of a lot of difference. So that's why I use RGBWs. A lot of people use RGB and don't have problem. Awesome. Glad for you. That is sweet. I'm not going to argue at all. That is a personal call that I'm not making. Okay. So yeah, that's that. Back to the Bluetooth screen. That's it. So beyond that, you know, you got your show modes. Show modes will override DRLs. So if your DRLs are on and you hit show, it will go to show. They will not override your turn signals. So if I hit turns, turns will override show modes. So I don't know if that will factor in anything that you plan on doing with these lights, but there you go. That way you know. So yeah, show modes. There's a lot of show modes. I think there's something like 26 or some ungodly number of show modes. It's crazy. Popcorn, waves, Cylon, builder, kaleidoscope, starfall, parade, solid, strobe, sparkle, heartbeat, dazzle, lava lamp, crossfire, slats, hyperspectral, line dance, stacker, orbit. I got orbit set way low. Speed it up a little. There we go. Meteor shower, fireworks, firecracker, and Tetris. I'm not even going to go through all those modes. I mean, like, there you go. You saw real quick and dirty. Play with it. Have fun. Set them. As you can see, I have tons of presets that I've done. Set them. Have fun. Play with them. If you like something, add it. And then you just go to the bottom and you can add another one. Add another one. Add another one. Add another one. You can go to your go-tos. What do you like? You can adjust each one. So if I choose popcorn here, I can open it up with the settings icon. I can choose the frequency. I can choose the fade. I can choose the dimmer. I mean, generally you want them at 100%, but you know, hey, you want to turn it down, you can turn it down. Colors, you can choose each color. You can delete a color, you can add a color, you can make them all one color if you want, you know, whatever you want to do. So if you choose this, and this is kind of cool, it will actually ignore the arrangement tab. So here, I'll show you that. Basically, oh crap, okay. Connect. Let's go to waves. So we'll go to waves, I'll do settings. I'm gonna hit that. So let's say that for certain show modes, you like the idea that it just goes in a rotation, in line. It completely ignores the whole round thing, you know, this way. You want it to just go in a straight line. That's that. Right there. Settings, crazy amount of settings in these things. It's nuts. You got a dimmer here. If you want to make any certain color lighter or darker, you can select the color and you can make that individual color lighter or darker. You can make the entire show mode lighter or darker. If for whatever reason you want to, maybe you find that the color flow halos are overpowering the demon eye and you want to turn it down for a picture or something. You know, cameras struggle to capture headlights. It's crazy. You get these things in person, they usually look 10 times better than they do in the videos. It is hard to capture these things with a camera. You can turn down the master dimmer. It makes picture taking a heck of a lot easier. One more feature on these that's really cool. So you have this little icon here. What this is, it's a list. So what I can do is I can go, and this is usually how I do my videos. I'll go through and I'll choose, you know, the ones that I think really showcase the lights well. Sparkle, hyperspectral, crossfire, meteor shower, heartbeat, and I don't know, we'll do a Tetris, why not? Down at the bottom here, this pops up, little play icon, and a little indicator for time. So this is the switch interval. So what this does, it just queued up to 8. You can do up to 8. Yeah, they haven't added more than 8 yet. And you just hit play, and it will send the signal. All right. So if you had a car show, you don't want one show mode going the entire time in your lights. It's boring. Your car does 2,700 different show modes depending on what you have set up. You can do 8. You can queue up to 8. You hit play. You hit a duration, and it sends that signal to the controller. And you literally just turn off your phone, walk away from your car, let it run all day long. It'll keep doing it. You don't have to come back. You don't have to change anything. You can leave the car and let it run, and you don't have to worry about your phone communicating and telling it what to do. It automatically loaded up all those show modes to tell it to run in sequence like that. So I mean, just really cool the way that it works. Really cool the way that, you know, you can queue all this stuff up. But yeah, that's in a nutshell, that is what the BlueGhozt controller can do, how it works, how it functions. We've covered the addition of the switch. So I know I have another video explaining the controller. This is newer than that. Just, you know, trying to give you guys as much control over these lights as I can without losing reliability. So I like the switch addition. That's something new. But you can see it's changed on its own. I think I got a 10-second interval or something like that. So it's changed on its own. It's going back and forth between different modes. And it's doing its thing. If you make adjustments on the app, there is a save icon that it's going to connect. Oh, it is connected. Okay. So if I see this little save icon on the top, so it has to go the full way around before you kill the power on the lights. So, I mean, this really shouldn't affect you guys much because your lights are going to be on the car. But if you're like, for some reason, you're doing what I'm doing and you're like tuning them in your house on a test bench or something, like this has to come to a completion or else everything that you've done will not be saved. Another option you can do is if you get out of the app. So I'll just close out that app. And just for safety, I like to turn off the Bluetooth as well, just to be safe. All right, memory card got full, so I had to pick up where I left off. So yeah, so that save icon. So you want to make sure that save icon finishes, because if you don't, then like I said, everything that you put in here, all the data, all the stuff, is all gone. You're going to be furious because you had everything perfect. It looked beautiful, and you got to do it all over again. Don't do that. Make sure that little save icon is gone before you disconnect the lights. If you are changing things and you're planning on disconnecting the lights, so you know, if it's on the car, if it's on a bench, whatever the case. If builders are watching this, awesome, great, wonderful. Remember that. Just don't do it before that's off. Okay, one more thing before I forget. Sometimes when I ship these, I mess up and I forget to check the turn signal input. So like I'm going to check that right now. So like your turn signal, if you flip the stock on your lights when you get them installed, and you notice that when you do a right turn, your left light is flashing. Hey, really simple to fix. It's actually right here. So on your left side and your right side, you can see when I switch, the right side is using the right arrow, left side's using the left arrow. It is just that simple. If it's flipped, all you got to do is come in here, highlight that one, unselect that one. You select, unselect, select, unselect, and that's, you're flipping the turn signal from one side of the car to the other. I'll check these before I ship them. Like I usually check them, but I've missed a couple because the way I run these, when I test them, I put the turn signals together on the same flasher relay. So I sometimes I completely forget to check that part. But yeah, if that's ever the case, or if you're playing around with them and you accidentally hit the trash can icon, that's what that is. In case you didn't know, you hit that, you delete that section. If you hit section 1 and you delete it, you got to redo all the sections, because you cannot, that I know of, you cannot add. Yeah, I don't think you can re-sort your sections. It doesn't really work that way. So if you make that mistake, I've had a couple people do that. You're gonna have to reset the turns as well, assuming that they're not on the right is right, left is left, which sometimes they're not. My bad. That's on me. If it's one of my builds. Okay, so I think that covers everything. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer anything that I can. Just reach out and let me know.